The government took more money from you last year than any thief ever could, and you probably thank them for it. No mask, no gun, no break-in, just a paycheck that quietly gets smaller before you even see it. Meet Frank. He's a factory supervisor in Ohio, 42 years old, earning $60,000 a year. He works hard, pays his bills on time, and has never missed a single tax deadline in his life. Frank has no idea how much of his life he's actually giving away. Before Frank even sees his paycheck, federal income tax takes a cut. Then state tax, then Social Security, then Medicare. That's 4 separate deductions before Frank has spent a single dollar of his own money. Then Frank goes to buy groceries and pays sales tax. He fills up his truck and pays gas tax. He owns a modest 3-bedroom house, and every single year, without fail, he pays property tax just for the privilege of living in it. By the time the year ends, nearly 40% of everything Frank earned in 12 months of hard work is gone, spread across taxes he barely notices because they're never taken all at once. If someone walked up to Frank and asked for 40% of his paycheck directly, he'd say no immediately. But when it's split into dozens of invisible slices, most people never add it up. That's not an accident. That's the entire design. But here's the part almost nobody talks about: the tax that isn't even called a tax: inflation. When the government spends more money than it collects, which it does almost every single year, it doesn't just raise taxes outright. That would cause outrage. Instead, it borrows the difference and often prints new money to cover the gap. Every new dollar printed doesn't just appear out of nowhere without a cost. It quietly makes every dollar already sitting in your bank account worth a little less. Frank never voted for this. No one had to approve it. It just happened, line by line, year by year, price by price. Frank's grocery bill went up 30% in the last 3 years. His paycheck did not. That gap, that missing 30%, didn't vanish. It went somewhere. It went to cover spending that Frank never agreed to through a tax he never saw on any bill. It went to cover spending that Frank never agreed to through a tax he never saw on any bill. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. This isn't a story about one political party doing something wrong. Both sides have done this for decades under nearly every administration. Spend more than you collect, borrow the rest, let inflation quietly cover the difference. It's not a conspiracy. It's simply how large systems tend to behave when spending decisions are separated from the people actually paying the bill. Frank isn't rich. He isn't reckless. He isn't financially illiterate. He's just an average, hardworking guy, and he's losing ground every single year without doing anything wrong. So the real question isn't who to blame. The real question is, what does someone like Frank actually do about it? Here's what changed everything for him. First, Frank stopped looking only at his tax rate and started tracking his real tax burden. Every deduction, every hidden tax added up across an entire year. Once you see the real number, you can't unsee it, and that awareness alone changes how you spend and save. Second, Frank stopped letting his savings sit still in a regular account earning almost nothing. Inflation eats idle cash every single year, whether you notice it or not. Money that isn't growing is quietly shrinking. Third, Frank started using legal, tax-advantaged accounts, retirement accounts, tax-deferred investments, tools that are legally available to every single person, but that most people never take the time to understand. None of this fixes the system. Frank can't lower national spending. He can't stop the printing press. But every one of these steps protects him inside a system that was never designed with his best interest as the priority. The people who quietly build wealth generation after generation aren't the ones angrily fighting the system on social media. They're the ones who took the time to learn its rules and used those rules better than everyone else around them. Frank didn't get rich overnight, but he stopped losing ground, and for most people, that's the first real victory. If this opened your eyes even a little, imagine what the next video could show you. Follow Dollar Den, because understanding the system is the first step to not losing to it.